This is an overview of atmospheric noise pollution. In a 2018 interview with The Guardian News, an epidemiologist from the Imperial College of London said, "There's consistent evidence that road traffic noise leads to heart attacks." He recently analyzed the health data of 356,000 people in Britain and Norway and found that long-term exposure to traffic noise affects our blood chemistry over and above the effects of exhaust fumes. Noise and air pollution usually coexist, but we can adjust our statistical model to factor out for air pollution. Noise seems to have its own effect on the cardiovascular system, he says. Another study from Barts and the London School of Medicine has linked noise pollution from road traffic to instances of type 2 diabetes. The World Health Organization has calculated that at least 1 million healthy life years are lost every year in Western Europe countries because of environmental noise, with cardiovascular disease contributing to the vast majority of these deaths, especially in high blood pressure, heart attacks, and coronary heart disease. It is thought that noise triggers the release of the stress hormone cortisol, which damages blood vessels over time. Humans evolved our acute hearing millions of years ago when we prey on animals and had to pinpoint predators, so it's no wonder we find noise so stressful. It's hardwired. A leading acoustics engineer, Trevor Cox, hypothesizes that the noises we find most stressful are distress calls, screams with an unhinged roughness in them, caused by the vibrations of vocal cords when someone is truly terrified. The frequencies are similar and horrible to the sounds of fingers scraping down a chalkboard and to an electric drill angrily ripping through a plasterboard. Noise exposure has been linked with cognitive impairment and behavioral issues in children, as well as the most obvious sleep disturbance and hearing damage. The European Environmental Agency blames 10,000 premature deaths, 43,000 hospital admissions, and 900,000 cases of hypertension a year in Europe just on noise. The most pervasive source is road traffic noise. 125 million Europeans experience levels greater than 55 decibels, thought to be harmful to human health, day, evening, and night. And now, more on noise pollution. The objective of this presentation is to gain a greater understanding of how human activities have a physical, chemical, and biological consequence for the atmosphere. The learning objective is to describe human activities that result in noise pollution and its effects. As part of the presentation, we'll be looking at the attributes of sound, talking about the sources of noise pollution, as well as looking at the effects on noise pollution on humans and the environment. Noise pollution is an invisible danger. It cannot be seen, but its presence nonetheless has major effects on human health and the environment. Noise pollution is considered to be any unwanted or disturbing sound that affects the health and well-being of humans or other organisms. Sound can be measured in decibels, and according to the National Geographic fact sheet on noise pollution, there are many sounds in the environment, from rustling leaves, which is about 20 to 30 decibels, to a thunderclap, which is about 120 decibels, to the wail of a siren, which is nearly 120 to 140 decibels. Sound that reaches 85 decibels or above can harm a person's ears and hearing. Sound sources that exceed this threshold include many familiar things such as power lawnmowers, which are about 90 decibels, subway trains, which can range from 90 to 115 decibels, and loud rock concerts, which are 110 to 120 decibels. Noise pollution impacts millions of lives on a daily basis. The most common health problems it causes is noise-induced hearing loss. Exposure to loud noises can also cause high blood pressure, heart disease, sleep disturbances, and stress. And these health problems can affect all age groups, but are especially true for children. Many children who live near noisy airports or streets have been found to suffer from stress and other problems, such as impairments to memory, attention level, or even reading skill. There are many anthropogenic sources of noise pollution. The Environmental Pollution Center has compiled a comprehensive list, which includes many things such as street traffic sounds, which could be cars, buses, pedestrians, ambulances, etc. Construction sounds, which could be things like drilling or other heavy machinery used in operations. Airports, which have a constant elevated sound from air traffic, such as planes taking off or landing. Workplace sounds, which is often common in open space offices. loud music which could come from nearby commercial venues, industrial sounds from things like fans, generators, compressors, or mills, train station traffic, household sounds which can include many things like TV, music, vacuum cleaners, fans and coolers, washing machines, dishwashers, or the largest, lawnmowers. Outdoor events which include things like fireworks, firecrackers, or speakers. And the last, conflicts which generate noise pollution through explosions or gunfire. The dysfunctions in this case are likely caused by the conflict and insecurity and less by the noise pollution itself, although that compounds the stress levels as well. The effects of noise pollution on human health and the environment can be wide-ranging. In humans, that list includes things like noise-induced hearing loss. Hearing loss can be caused directly by noise pollution. It comes from long exposure to noise or separate incidents in which noise levels reach dangerous intervals, such as around 140 decibels for adults or 120 decibels for children. High blood pressure. Hypertension is also a direct cause of noise pollution, which comes from elevated blood levels for long periods of time. Also common are various cardiovascular diseases. Elevated blood pressure caused by noise pollution, especially during the night, can lead to many different cardiovascular diseases. Sleep disturbances. Sleep disturbances are usually caused by constant air or land traffic at night, and they are a serious condition in that they can affect the everyday performance of individuals or lead to serious diseases. Physiological and psychological stresses, such as dementia, which isn't necessarily caused by noise pollution, but it can be onset or favored or compounded by noise pollution. Psychological dysfunctions such as noise annoyance, which is in fact a recognized name for the emotional reaction that comes from an immediate impact. Of particular concern is child development. Children appear to be more sensitive to noise pollution, and a number of noise-polluted related diseases and dysfunctions are known to affect children. This can include things like hearing impairment, but it can also lead to physical and psychological stresses. The effects in the environment can look very similar and includes things like psychological and physiological stress, reproductive behavior disruption, and navigational ability impairment. The population and diversity of many bird species has been shown to be in decline or change when exposed to continuous noise generated by urban environments. Several species have begun to adjust their vocal cords in an attempt to be heard over anthropogenic noise. A study conducted in 2007 found that the urban European robins, which were territorial birds, rely strongly on vocal communication, adjusted the timing of their singing to compensate for acoustic pollution. Scientists studying the behavior of scrub jays, birds that are common across the western United States, found that they avoid nesting in noisy areas, such as near gas wells where the constantly running compressors drowned out their communication calls. The study's lead author, Clinton Francis, said, "We're starting to see that noise may actually be a huge problem because it acts as a form of sensory pollution, forcing animals to adapt their calls to be heard over or leave the area altogether."